Okay, well, the sun came up on Sunday and we came to work and got back to work and had some good meetings with our guys. Yeah, they were disappointed and all that, but their entire focus was about getting this game over with and moving on to Texas. So what our focus was, late Sunday night after we got done was all about Texas. The kids, that yesterday was their day off. They were rolling through the halls, believe it or not, excited about the opportunity to be able to go play another Big 12 football game. That's why a lot of them came here, so they could be in games like this. They know that we're going to have many opportunities like we did last Saturday. And our job is to work hard and prepare hard and put ourselves in position to be able to try to win a few more of those Big 12 games like we didn't do on Saturday. So our focus is 100% on Texas. If you have any TCU questions, I'll be happy to answer them. When our assistant coaches come in here, they'll be happy to answer them. I would ask and the players are going to abide by this, that they're not interested in talking about TCU. They have completely moved on, and everything that they've been thinking about and everything that they've been focused on is about the University of Texas and moving on to Game 10. So all those questions need to be directed to me or a couple of the assistant coaches. The last two games that we've been in with Texas been pretty exciting. 48-45 in Austin that we won last year. Let one slip away from us, 47-40. So you have no reason to think that this game is going to be any different than those games. Just like TCU, the last three games have came down to the last play of the game. That's exciting Big 12 football. We are really excited to be a part of the Big 12. We are incredibly excited to be relevant in college football and have opportunities to play against such great programs. We're no different than them. We feel like we're a great program. We feel like we're a great team, and we look forward to the next opportunity to be able to go out there and play. Going to be a great road game. We've played well on the road this year. We anticipate playing on the road again this year, and look forward to the opportunity against Texas. A few notes on the Longhorns. Charlie Strong, very familiar with him, obviously. Had West Virginia, and when he was at Louisville, obviously had several different competitive battles. We were competitively trying to get into the Big 12. Since then, obviously, he's moved on to the Big 12 at the University of Texas. So we're pretty familiar with how he runs his program. Very disciplined, no nonsense guy. Got a ton of respect for that. Got a ton of respect for his past and what he's done defensively as one of the best defensive minds in college football. You can see the improvement that has existed from Game 1 to Game 9, and you can see it on all three sides of the ball. Defensively, they're good. They have good players. Their schemes are tricky. They do a lot of different things on the front, a lot of different things in coverage. Their D-line is big and physical. They do a great job stopping the run. They got active linebackers that seems like they've been there for a decade. The Edmond kid and the Hicks kid seems like they've been there forever. Got good quality corners. Will be challenging for us to get things going offensively. Their offense, again, has improved. The Swoops kid is a big physical quarterback that is hard to get on the ground. They will use him in the run game some, and then the thing that he's really improved on is getting the ball downfield to a couple of their receivers. This Harris kid came out of nowhere and almost has 1,000 yards on the year. Big physical guy that has started to emerge. Shipley, another Shipley, another senior Shipley, which is known that family for a very long time, is a good quality a receiver as well. their backs are what really kind of make them go. The same guys that were with them that played against us last year, Brown and Gray, 28 and 32, big physical guys that are hard to get on the ground. So I would anticipate that they're going to try to control the ball, try to wear us down, run the ball a good bit, and then when we have to commit to the run, they're going to try to long ball us, which is what they've done here, and they've been getting better at it. Special teams, very solid. Anytime you got a lot of good players and quality depth, you're going to be good on special teams. Their returners are guys that are interesting. They've done a lot of different kickoff return guys. All seem to be about the same. Their punt returner, Shipley, is a good player. Like we said, their kickoff guy boots everything into the end zone. So, very, very solid in special teams as well. So, very good quality team that's improving on a week-to-week basis. We're going to have our work cut out for us. I think our guys are going to be in the appropriate frame of mind to prepare hard for this game, to be able to go play a good Big 12 football game. So with that, we'll take some questions.
How do you get Clint, either practice, film work, or meetings to be more comfortable, not so incredibly uncomfortable, in your words?
Well, Clint's doing I don't view him as being uncomfortable playing the game. I think he's very comfortable playing the game. I think he's very aware of his surroundings. In the run game, I think he's doing a fantastic job getting us into the appropriate play. I give TCU a bunch of credit for what they did defensively. Gary's one of the best defensive coordinators in college football. They did a good job of taking away our run-pass stuff. We were forced to throw the ball with progressions that we haven't had to do as much of that this year, and unfortunately for us, TCU is probably as good as I've ever seen at covering progressions, reading routes and jumping routes. They did a heck of a job at that, which forces Clint to stay in the pocket a little bit longer than we've had to. And then there's the problem of their pass rush being really, really good. So, I give TCU a lot of credit for that. I think Clint is incredibly comfortable with what we're asking him to do, and I think he's doing a fantastic job of doing the things that we're asking him to do. I got to coach our guys better to execute the things that we're asking them to execute.
Dana, schematically, is Texas the same as Louisville, or is he doing different things?
We did glance at the tape from 3 years ago, 4 years ago, a decade ago, whenever it was out here, right? We were a little different offensively, so they were a little different defensively. It's kind of the same stuff. We've been doing the same stuff, but how they're going to attack us is going to probably be a little bit more of a result of us being a little bit different. That was back when I forgot. I didn't know how to run the ball as well as we do now. So it's the same stuff. He's been doing. He's been a 3-3 guy for a long time. They're doing a lot of 4-down stuff now. That's the mixture in the fronts that they're doing that they did do out here 4 years ago, but just a little bit different variety.
You mentioned tricky. Are you talking about things they do up front, twisting, things like that?
Who's that? Texas.
Strong, defensively. Tricky. You mentioned they were tricky.
I thought you said trick it, and I was not following you whatsoever. They just, the different fronts, they go 3-down, 4-down. Okay, with the same personnel, they have a 4-down front that kick one of those backers up and stand them as one of the linebackers to look like it's a 3-3 stack front. So that changes how we identify things and the blocking schemes and all that. So we can go against them. We've obviously go against our defense a lot. We go against 4-down fronts like we did last week. It's just a matter of ID in the front. Tyler Orlowski does a great job of that. I mean, he's a very, very smart kid that can ID the fronts and get us pointed in the right direction.
No offensive players spoke after the game, and they won't speak about it again today. Is that a game that 5 turnovers they just need to kind of forget? Is that kind of the message now?
Yeah, and that's what we talked about after the game. I mean, I said it, and I don't regret saying that the fourth quarter is unacceptable. I got to do a better job of getting us in the right play. I got to do a better job of getting us to execute what we're asking them to execute.
Do you believe they got the pass rush because of scheme stuff, because they out-talented you up front, or your offensive line had a bad game, and do you plan any changes up front?
No, not at all. I think our guys up front did a good job. Our plan was to run the ball. TCU, is one of the best pass defensive teams in college football. They're just really good at it. Their staff has been together for 15 years. They do a great job of reading routes. Their pass rush is good. We went into the game knowing that we needed to run the ball right at them as much as we possibly can. I think we did a very good job of that in the first half. I thought we did a acceptable job in the third quarter. I thought we did a very poor job in the fourth quarter when it counted. But that was part of our game plan for a reason. The pass rush is something that we knew they were good at. And we got to work hard on that this week to get a little bit better at it.
It's the second game in a row where defenses have taken Kevin White away from you guys. 2 weeks ago, you were able to kind of compensate, find other people to step up and do it. It seemed like this week, without him, the pass game really suffered.
Well, again, it goes back to who our opponent is. We're talking about a team that's a top 5 team that's known as one of the best defensive football teams with the best defensive coaches in college football. I don't know what else you want me to say. They're good. Our opponent has something to do with that. With that said, we got to do a better job as coaches to identify what we got to do to have the production acceptable to where we can win the game. That's my job, and we're working hard on that this week.
No concerns offensively that defenses in a row have taken away White?
Well, yeah, it's one of our better players. That's why I said, yes, we're going to do a good job as coaches this week of trying to identify ways to be able to be creative to get him involved in other ways. We attempted 3 or 4 passes to him downfield. They have a 4-year starter at corner. That was pretty good. Oklahoma State had a 3-year starter at corner. That's pretty good. Those 2 players are good players. I give them a bunch of credit, and they put the safety over the top of them. That's a bad way to try to get him the ball downfield. We got to do a better job at doing other things to get him involved. I take full responsibility for that.
Dana, not to harp on that, is that the way teams have naturally played defense before that, or is that a quote-unquote Kevin White plan that you expect to see the rest of the way?
Justin Blackmon was a pretty good player. Yeah, Michael Crabtree is a pretty good player. Stephen Bailey is a pretty good player. So we'll figure out ways. We'll figure out ways to be able to get him involved.
All right, then the follow-up there would be you have a pretty good balance of seeing that look and running and being effective too, but you also want to get him in. Can you describe how you manage that and not force something, but maybe not do exactly what they want you to do? Does that make sense?
Not really.
Okay.
When people do that, I mean, we know what they're doing defensively. We're going to continue to come up with ways of being able to attack defenses, and we got to do a better job of calling the appropriate plays in the appropriate situations. I take full responsibility for that, and we have to execute the calls that are made. It'd be a good idea to hang on to the football as well.
Speaking thereof, I asked Shannon after the game whether Shell and Smallwood disappeared from the game pretty much because of the fumbles, and he said that he wasn't the guy to ask on that, so I'll ask you.
We got the luxury of having 4 backs that can play. We need those guys to hang on to the ball. I thought our O-line did a great job at executing the game plan in the running game. We went right at them, and TCU is really hard to go right at, and we had a lot of success early as far as doing that. When we get these guys out in the open, we got to make things happen. So our success because of what defenses are doing against us, because of the 2 guys on the outside, put the backs in position to be able to make a difference. And we need those guys to make a difference, and I know they can. I've seen them do it. When I don't see them do it, then that's when we put other people in there to see if they can do it.
Danny, get-
Another snap from Tyler that seemed to catch Clint by surprise. Was that the same as the first one, I think, was in the Alabama game? Is it the same thing?
No, we've had 2 snap issues this year. The first one was just a bad snap. It went.
Oh, right.
It went up here, so it's just a bad snap. But obviously, I think Tyler's done a great job with the snaps. If you watch every game, that what we were dealing with last year, I mean, snaps are all over the place, and that makes it hard to execute anything. Tyler's done a great job with the snaps. That was a communication error that it was bad. It didn't look good. It was a communication error. It's something that can obviously be fixed.
Danny, going back to the offensive line, you mentioned they did really well early, going right at him, and it kind of fell off in the fourth quarter, and you were kind of disappointed. Is that depth again coming up as an issue? And pretty much these 5 starters go the whole game and they get tired, or is that just TCU outplayed us in the fourth quarter?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think our line's in good shape. And I think they're in great shape. I think they're doing a good job. I didn't view it as a problem against Oklahoma State in the second half when we took control of the game. I didn't view it as a problem against Texas Tech, where we scored 17 points in the fourth quarter and took control of that game. I think the quality of the opponent was pretty good, and I didn't do a very good job. I didn't motivate them good enough. I didn't call the appropriate plays. We didn't get it done in the fourth quarter. I take responsibility for it.
But at some point there is an execution element too, right? I mean, you didn't fumble the ball, you didn't throw the interception.
There's an execution element to it that I got to get them to execute better in critical situations. And again, against a really good football team, against a really good defensive-minded football team that is really good on defense, we did pretty good in certain areas of the game. We got some work to do this week in order to be able to get some things corrected to be able to win this game this week.
Muldrow's the guy who came in here in January. It's just a matter of him, getting comfortable in the system to where he's able to.
First-year player. First-year player. He's doing good. He's starting to make a difference. Shaq Riddick, first-year player, is starting to make a difference. Drayvon Henry, first-year player, starting to make a difference. I think one of the things that we've done defensively is we got a lot of guys that have experience, that it means a lot to them, and then we're able to add some guys like that are athletic, that are really athletic, and that are making our overall athleticism defensively better.
And despite the one breakdown on defense on the long pass play, the game, it seemed to me that this might have been maybe your best defensive game, and certainly hardest hitting game. Would you go along with that? And also, would you address the play Chestnut made, how good a play that was?
Yeah, I can't say enough of our defense. I mean, they played great. I mean, Tony Gibson's doing a wonderful job. Our guys are buying into it, playing fast, playing physical. They call it a turnover. They strip it and you pick it up and you return it for a touchdown. It was awesome. But just a great play by Chestnut. He was covering the guy caught it, he stripped it, he picked it up, and he ran for a touchdown.
Dan, a lot of this was offensive line and defensive line today. The game has changed so much. We're fast guys out in space spread offenses, but it seems like every game is that really tight space in the middle. How is that never changed through the years, where it's offensive line, defensive line? That's typically the most important.
Point of attack. It's a point of attack. Whether it's O line or D line, you got to control the line of scrimmage.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.